Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all my Mementotlan Yugioh deck profile for post the Infinite Forbidden. The Memento deck has definitely gotten a lot stronger with the newest support from the Infinite Forbidden Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set, with the new addition of Mementotlan Tekotella Creation King, a new fusion monster, and the addition of Sleep in the main deck. We also had some previous support from the Legacy of Destruction booster set to also help with the overall power of the deck. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck monsters. Our main deck boss monster is Mementotlan Tekotella Combined Creation. It cannot be normal summon or set. It must be special summon from your hand or graveyard by shuffling 5 other Memento monsters with different names from your hand and or graveyard into the deck / extra deck. While you control no other monsters, this card can attack all monsters your opponent control once each, and once per turn. If your opponent activates a card or effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 Memento monster from your hand or graveyard, giving you those resources, but the 5,000 attack, 5,000 boss monster gets easier to summon with the more and more different Memento monsters that we get, with 2 new additions in the latest booster set alone. We're also running 3 copies of Mementotlan Darkblade. If it's normal or special summon, you can discard 1 Memento card, then target 1 spell or trap your opponent controls, destroy it. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 Memento monster you control. If you do, special summon 1 level 3 or lower Memento monster from your deck. You can only use this effect of Darkblade once per turn, but having the discard option for a Memento card to target a spell or trap destruction on top of the own destruction of Darkblade to then special summon a level 3 or lower Memento monster, with our new Sleep also being included with those level 3 or lower monsters for the summon to be able to get out. And also the 3 copies of Mementotlan Tatsuno Toshigo. If you do not control any face-up monsters other than Memento monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can destroy 1 Memento monster you control and send any number of Memento monsters with different names from your deck to the graveyard, whose total levels are less than or equal to the destroyed monsters. So more send and setup power, thanks to Tatsuno Toshigo being an easy special summon resource on the field as well, for you to be able to make use of, and then just being able to destroy a Memento monster to send any number with different names. So the more different names we have, the better for resources to send out. Also, for the last of 3 ofs, 3 copies of Mementotlan Anguish. If it's normal or special summon, you can add 1 Memento monster from your deck to your hand, except for Anguish, and you can target a level 2 or lower Memento monster in your graveyard, destroy 1 Memento monster you control, and special summon that targeted monster you control. So giving you more of the targeted option with your Memento monsters again, being able to special summon that monster from the graveyard this time, while Darkblade has the special summon power from the deck, Anguish has more setup from the graveyard to use. With our newest Memento monster being our Mementotlan Sleepy. During this turn, a monster in your possession was destroyed by a card effect. Quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can fusion summon 1 Memento fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field, giving you an extra fusion option for Memento fusion monster. We do have the spell as well to be able to fusion summon. This is just an added bonus with Sleepy to be able to give you that. And if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send 1 Memento card from your deck to the graveyard, except for Mementotlan Sleepy. It's set up for the graveyard, it's fusion summon power, an easy special summon resource. You really only need the 2 though. You have all the search power in the deck available to you for you to be able to use. And then for the 1-ofs for the Mementotlan monsters, 1 copy of Mace, 1 copy of Goblin, 1 copy of the Mementotlan Horn Dragon, and the 1 Gaddock for all the different leveled monsters. Horn Dragon being an additional boss monster, Goblin having more of the discard setup for your card effects for Mementotlan, and then being able to have control of the face of monster your opponent controls with your Mace, and then Gaddock when it's normal or special summon, being able to target 1 Memento card in your graveyard, except for Gaddock, and adding it back to your hand. And then for the rest of the main deck monsters, we just have the hand trap lineup. So 3 copies of Nibiru, because you still could have the graveyard setup to make use of with combined creation afterwards. 3 copies of Ash Blossom, along with the 3 copies of Effect Veiler for all the rest of the main deck monsters that we have. For the spells, running 3 copies of Mementotlan Bone Party. You destroy 1 Memento monster in your hand or face up on the field to take 1 Memento monster from your deck deck with a different name and either add to your hand or special summon it in defense. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to target a memento monster you control. If it attacks a defense monster this turn, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. So piercing battle damage set up on the field or in your hand, you name it, you have the search and added power, so a definite 3 of just for that added resource. We also run the 3 copies of Mementotlan Fusion. During the main phase, you can fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, including a memento monster. It doesn't limit you to a memento fusion monster, you just have fusion options using this card as well. And also, you can also shuffle memento monsters from your graveyard into the deck as material, and during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard to destroy 1 monster you control. If you do, add 1 memento spell or trap from your deck to your hand, having a search for Bone Party or some of the lower numbers for our Mementotlan spells that we run, like our Mementotlan with this field spell. If your memento monster battles, your opponent can activate spell or traps until the end of damage step. If a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one of those monsters and special summon 1 memento monster with a lower level from your hand or graveyard to at least have kind of like a continuing special summon option with this card on the field, with the rest of our spells being the 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity and the 1 copy of Call by the Grave. If you wanted to drop 1 copy of Prosperity for a copy of 1-for-1, you can always do that as well, since we do run a good number of level 1 Mementotlan monsters, and then the send of the other monsters can just help to set up more and more in our graveyard for us to make use of. And then for the traps, we have the 1 copy of Mementotlan Cranium Burst. With this continuous trap, while you control a memento monster, your opponent monsters must attack the memento monster you control with the highest attack, their choice. And when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, except during damage step, you can target 1 Mementotlan Tactile combined creation you control. It loses 1000 attack and defense and negate the activated effect. So more of a power use of your bigger boss monster on the field also thanks to this card, with the last of the traps just being 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, along with the other hand traps we run just added backup to use against our opponents. And then for the extra deck, we have the 1 copy of the Mementotlan Tactile Creation King. This could potentially be a 2 of. It needs 3 memento monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard to add 1 Mementotlan from your deck to your hand. You can activate the following effects of Creation King in the same chain. If this card's fusion summon, you can send 3 memento cards from your deck and or extra to the graveyard. And then also, you can target an equal number of memento monsters you control and cards your opponent controls and destroy them. So destruction power, along with initial setup in your graveyard, being able to make use of the Creation King for the added power and setup, just not in the same chain with it. The 3 copies of Twin Dragon, one of the easier fusion monsters to make, just needing the 2 memento monsters to do so. If you wanted to run a second copy of Creation King, you can always drop down 1 copy of this card, and then any monster battling with it is banished instead. And then also, if it's fusion summon, you can destroy 1 memento monster in your hand or face on the field to add 2 memento monsters with different names. So more of a searcher from the deck using this card instead of the graveyard setup that Creation King does. And then also the 1 copy of Garura, along with the 1 Guardian Chimera. The additional second copy can be either a King or Servant of the Swamp for that extra spot, or it can even be the other spot for the Creation King, while running the 3 additional Twin Dragons still in the extra deck, with the rest of the extra deck lineup for our cards being the 1 copy of Relinquished Anima, the 1 Herald of Mirage Lights, the 1 Nightmare Cerberus, along with the 1 IP Masquerena, the 1 Lena, the Light Charmer, the 1 Access Code, the 1 Apollosa, and the 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World to finish off the extra deck. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, as before, the big setup with the Mementotlan deck is just initial setup with your monsters in the graveyard. So if you go for the Dark Blade Summon, being able to discard a memento card to target spell trap your opponent controls, but the main play is the Destruction play to then special summon a level 3 or lower memento monster from your deck. So then with that initial summon, you can go for your Anguish, when then you can use this one to add a monster from your deck to your hand. You can add Sleepy off of this card, and then from there you can use your Anguish effect to either target the level 2 or lower in your graveyard, so you'll need that additional resource, but you do have the Sleepy in your hand. If a monster in your possession was destroyed, you can then have this card be the special summon play, and then if it's normal or special summon, you can fusion summon, so you can use the Anguish and the Sleepy to then go for your Twin Dragon fusion in the field, and then any monster destroyed by battle with your memento monster is banished. You can use this effect once per turn. If it's fusion summon, destroy 1 memento monster in your hand or face up on the field to add 2 memento monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. So as long as you have that one additional resource in your hand for the destruction, you can then go for the 2 additional searches as well for your bigger Memento monsters, having the big variety of the 5 on the field, having your combined creation right then and there for that play. The additional fusion will come down to if you have 1 additional monster or even just the spell in your hand and you have the 3 monster shuffle back in your graveyard for you to use also with this. But that was it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed. Just trying to update all the Infinite Forbidden decks that I can with the new support that they received from the Infinite Forbidden booster set. But as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.